if they say, no, I don't want it, the executors must give their share to them. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. فَإِن كُنَّ نِسَاءً فَوْقَ اثْنَتَيْنِ فَلَهُنَّ ثُلُثَا مَا تَرَكَ. Now if the daughters are more than two, then they will share 2/3 of all the inheritance that was left behind. وَإِن كَانَتْ وَاحِدَةً, and if there is only one daughter, فَلَهَا النِّصْفُ, and there are no children, there is no son, there are no other daughters, there's only one daughter. If there's a one daughter only, she will get half of all the wealth. But if there are two or more, they will get 2/3. وَلِأَبَوَيْهِ لِكُلِّ وَاحِدٍ مِّنْهُمَا السُّدُسُ مِمَّا تَرَكَ إِنْ كَانَ لَهُ وَلَدٌ. Now, for the parents, there are 3 scenarios. The parents are left behind, and there are also children. Whether one son, one daughter, or one son, 2 daughters, or 2 sons and 2 daughters, regardless of the number. If there are children and there are parents, the parents, each of them will get 1/6, and the children will get the share as mentioned above. So the parents, they'll get 1/6. وَلِيَبَوَيْهِ لِكُلِّ وَاحِدٍ مِّنْهُمَا السُّدُسُ. For the parents, for each one of them, there's one share of 1/6. فَإِن لَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ وَلَدٌ وَوَرِثَهُ أَبَوَاهُ فَلِأُمِّهِ الثُّلُثُ. Now if there are no children and both parents are alive, both parents are there, now the mother will get 1/3. فَإِن كَانَ لَهُ إِخْوَةٌ فَلِأُمِّهِ السُّدُسُ. And the third scenario is that the mother and father are there, and there are no children, but there are other brothers and sisters. One brother or one sister, or 2 brothers and 2 sisters, or 3 brothers and 3 sisters, regardless of the number. But there are brothers and sisters who were left behind. So in that case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَإِن كَانَ لَهُ إِخْوَةٌ فَلِأُمِّهِ السُّدُسُ. So the mother will get 1/6. So basically what happens is, if there are no children and the mother and father are left behind, and there are no brothers and no sisters, the mother and the father both get 1/6. And if there are children, if there are no children and brothers and sisters are left behind, then the share of the mother will be reduced. Only the share of the mother. The share of the father will never be reduced. It will always be 1/6. But the share of the mother will be reduced, and it will become 1/3. And even then, the brothers, they will not get anything. The brothers will not get anything, or the sisters. فَلِأُمِّهِ السُّدُسُ مِنْ بَعْدِ وَصِيَّةٍ يُوصِي بِهَا أَوْ دَيْنٍ. This is after any instruction, any wasiyah that was made by the person, or any debt. آباؤكم أبناؤكم, your sons and your daughter, لا تدرون, your parents and your children, لا تدرون أيهم أقرب لكم نفعا. You do not know who is closer to you in benefit. فريضة من الله. This is a distribution from Allah. إن الله كان عليما حكيما. Surely Allah is fully aware and all wise. So in the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us that all of this distribution is divine. It's by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not leave it up to the people to decide who is more beneficial. What children are more beneficial, or parents? Because people would be different in their understanding. Some will say no, parents are more beneficial. Some will say no, children are more beneficial. So that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لا تدرون أيهم أقرب لكم نفعا. You do not know. Only Allah knows who is more beneficial, parents or children. Parents for the children, or children for the parents. So Allah has decided which share will be given to who. So this is one part of the distribution, one ayah that we will go further into detail inshallah in our next session. But there are 2 following ayahs as well that will go into details about the shares of other recipients that includes, husband and wife and other people, and we will cover that inshallah in our next session. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. So, as I mentioned, that when we come to the distribution of wealth, or when we understand the concept of debt, we must remind ourselves that if we have any outstanding loans, we must try to pay off those loans as soon as possible. Because after our death, the very first thing after the expenses of funeral and burial and shrouding, the very first thing that will come out of the wealth is the debt. And the debt doesn't only mean the person-to-person loan. The general understanding in our communities, in our minds, is that if I have taken a loan from another brother or from another sister, that is a loan. But if I have taken loans from credit cards, if I have borrowed money from a bank, if I have borrowed money from a credit union, that is unfortunately considered that is not a loan. And after I die, somehow that will be waived. Somehow that will be included in debt or in bankruptcy or something. So that is misunderstanding. If we have left that kind of loan behind, whether it is a credit card debt, or it is an auto loan, or it is a mortgage, whatever that is, it has to be paid off before the wealth being distributed among any of the heirs. That has to be completed. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.